Hey, how's it going guys? Jack and Matt here with the Toasty Bros, and today we're going to be partying together a $1,500 gaming PC sponsored by Antec.
Antec was nice enough to send over their DF700 Flux case just like they have in the past. They sent over a case, they want us to do a PC build to showcase how well it performs. We'll talk more about the case later, but special thanks again to Antec for making this build possible. They have a ton of great cases for a ton of different types of builds, so be sure to check the link in the description down below and check out all our other videos we've done with Antec cases.
And also, we were having a little bit of trouble finding a graphics card for this build, just like everyone else in the world right now, but Micro Center is the one place you can go in person and often pick up stuff like this 3060 Ti. So big thanks to them for helping out with this.
So how about we go ahead and talk about each individual part and how it makes up this $1,500 MSRP gaming PC build.
So for the processor, the heart of this build, we have the Ryzen 5800X, and this is just one of like the most respected processors right now, aside from the 5600X, which with this one, you get 8 cores and 16 threads, basically, 3800X replacement. But if you can get this at MSRP, we highly recommend it. Keep in mind, no cooler in the box, so you do need a custom cooler. So this right here is the NZXT KRAKEN Z73. This is a 360mm cooler with an LCD display. And oddly enough, this is from Linus Tech Tips, so shout out to him for sending that over. But yeah, 360mm, it's honestly a little overkill for this 5800X, but overkill is better than underkill, I guess, and it does allow for upgrades in the future if you ever wanted to go with like a 5950X or anything crazy like that. So for the motherboard, we went high end with this one. NZXT was actually nice enough to send this over. This is the NZXT N7 B550. You don't see this very often. You have a full plate over all the PCI stuff, like all the extra stuff basically. We are gonna have to take this off to get to the M.2, of course, which oddly enough we're not using in this build, but really nice looking motherboard overall. You can see we have a cooler right here, for that extra power. Now here's something you don't see very often right now because of pricing. We have CORSAIR 16 gigs, 3600 megahertz RAM, so dual channel 3600. What I mean by you don't see it very often is 3600 for some reason is really hard to find. It started to get really cheap before the whole pandemic, and now 3600 is expensive, so we almost recommend going with 3200 or 3000 because it's a lot cheaper, it's easy to find, and there's really not a huge performance difference, but we are going to enjoy XMPing this.
Once again, thanks to Micro Center for making this possible. This is the RTX 3060 Ti. This is an Asus model, 8 gigs of VRAM, really awesome card for the money. Well, if you can actually get it for the right price, but 3060 Ti is an awesome card. We really like the 3060 Ti level card right now because it maxes out pretty much anything you throw at it while not totally breaking the bank, again, if you can get it at MSRP. But awesome card, big thanks to Micro Center, and yeah, we love this Asus dual model because it has that nice RGB on there. It's going to add a lot of extra RGB to this case. It already has a lot of RGB, so we're just going to have even more RGB, just like all this RGB. We love RGB. 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 This right here is the VULCAN G from our friends over at Team Group. Now, of course, you can get NVMe SSD in a higher end build if you really want to and get even better performance. But once again, using a drive we have on hand, 512 gig drive, good enough to get us up and running. Probably want to go with 1 terabyte if you want to have, well, more than just Warzone installed on your PC. But yeah, very fast drive, 2.5 inch, and we're very excited to use it. Now for the power supply, our good old friends ARESGAME. This is a 750 watt, 80 plus bronze power supply. It's modular too. Yeah, we got modularity here so we can get some nice clean cable management. We use these power supplies a lot because they're readily available on Amazon, have some high reviews, and we really haven't had any problems with them. So we highly suggest you consider picking one of these up for your next gaming PC. And now to today's sponsor, Antec, and their DF700 Flux with 3 pre-installed RGB fans that I bet are gonna look super nice. And also the key feature of the Flux lineup, that reverse blade fan, which I'll go ahead and take the side panel off real quick, that you can put on the power supply basement to get some extra airflow. So this has mesh in the front, so it's already gonna have some good airflow, but this fan goes right on top of the power supply basement and sucks air in from this right here, this vent on the back that allows for extra airflow to the GPU. So if you have a pretty high-end GPU that may run a little bit hot, the Flux lineup cases are really awesome for that. And well, it's just an extra way to get extra airflow, and who can really complain about having too much airflow? So how are we going to build in this case and see what it's all about? right, fellow gamers, now that we have this $1,500 gaming PC all booted up and ready to go, let's talk about some benchmarks real quick. Now we decided to test this PC in a couple of titles, those being Call of Duty Cold War, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Rainbow Six Siege, and Fortnite. Now one thing to get out of the way, we did test this PC at 1080p, but this PC is very much capable of playing at 1440p if you want to, so yeah, definitely consider doing that. First up, in Call of Duty Cold War, on pretty much max settings with DLSS turned on just to see if we can get a better performance boost. We did get over 144 FPS at 1080p. This is no easy feat, and honestly, if you want a more optimized experience and maybe want to play at 240 FPS, you could optimize the settings a little bit in Cold War and lower them, because not a lot of people play on max settings, but getting over 144 FPS constantly on max settings is very impressive. It makes for an awesome gaming experience, and I do imagine if you lower some settings and play at 1440p, you'd get very similar numbers. So big props to the 3060 Ti for being an absolutely baller card right now, and hopefully some of you out there can actually pick this thing up. Next up, in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is our AAA benchmark of choice, on the highest settings using the built-in benchmark, we got over 89 FPS. This PC will max out any AAA title, no problems whatsoever. I really wish the market was better right now, because the 3060 and 3060 Ti, man, we could do so many different builds with these cards because they're so versatile and they max out pretty much any game you want. Yeah, the 3070 and 3080 are cool, but us being the value bros or the budget bros, whatever you want to call us, we absolutely love the 60 series cards. So definitely keep an eye out for these when they definitely do come back in stock, because these are going to be the best selling cards for you budget gamers out there. Next up, in Rainbow Six Siege, on max settings using the built-in benchmark, we averaged 389 FPS. Just like all other esports titles, this PC has no problems whatsoever, especially with the IPC of that Ryzen 7 5800X, which is absolutely awesome. You really don't need much more than this. This CPU can handle a high-end GPU all the way up to a 3080 or 3090 if you really want to. So building this PC now with a 3060 Ti makes it very upgradable in the future, and if you do want to save some money, you could opt for a 5600X and probably get a very similar playing experience. And last but certainly not least, we are testing everyone's favorite game, Fortnite, at 1080p on pro settings. We averaged 300 plus FPS. This is a great PC if you want to live stream and play Fortnite. You got that NVENC encoder on the 3060 Ti, and you have the awesome IPC of the new Ryzen 7 5800X. It's a perfect combo. It's great for Fortnite, and with some extra optimization, you could easily get a locked 240 FPS in this game, making it awesome for a 1080p 240Hz monitor. And as I wrap up the benchmarks, I have to give a big thanks again to Antec and their awesome DF700 FLUX case. This case is great for keeping all the parts in this PC nice and cool. As you can see from the MSI Afterburner overlay in the top left corner during the benchmarks, it's an absolutely killer case for the money. So please, if you want to buy this PC, including that case, links in the description down below. Special thanks again to Antec for making this build possible. And how about we go and bring Jackson back in here to wrap this video up real quick.
Alright guys, so this is one of the probably most satisfying looking builds we've done in a while. The NZXT board really felt different building on. Really building it's the same, it just looks a lot different.
It's super clean, makes for a very unique PC build, and overall the combination of the 3060 Ti with that Ryzen 7 5800X is a great combination, and absolutely love this case from Antec. It provides a ton of airflow while not totally breaking the bank, and some super nice RGB. So if you're interested in picking up this case or anything that we use in today's video, link in the description down below will be the affiliate links, and they do help us out if you do purchase using them.
So as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video and everything we did in it. If you haven't already, don't forget to check out our other 2 YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/toastybros. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
Hey, so if you guys didn't know, also, we have our own merch, and we're actually coming out with some new merch as we speak.
You can purchase it by using the link in the description down below. There's a ton of different designs, and as Jackson mentioned, new designs are always coming, so be sure to check it out. That's it. Goodbye.
That's it.